28th, 2021, 7:30 p.m. And I call this meeting of the Needham Design Review Board to order. I'm Mark Lusing, Board Chair. I would like to confirm that all members are present and can hear me. So members, when I call your name, please respond. Bob Dermody.
Here.
Nelson Hammer.
Here.
Chad Riley.
Here.
Steve Tanner.
Here.
Did I get everybody? There we go. Also attending our town staff persons, Ronamana Dorfer and Elisa Lichman. So applicants on the agenda, just please respond when I call out your project. We have a special permit hearing tonight for Boston Properties, 140 Kendrick Street. We can discuss that when the next phase of the meeting. Little Spoon Thai Kitchen, 952 Great Plain.
Here.
Speedway, 207 Highland Ave.
Here.
Okay. Sea Spray Shorelines, 110 Great Plain Ave.
Here.
It is. Goody Gifty, 10 Oak Street. Okay. Westleaf Design, 1020 Great Plain Ave. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to this open meeting of the Needham Design Review Board, which is being conducted remotely consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Needham Design Review Board is convening by Zoom app as posted on the town's website and the Design Review Board page, identifying how the public may join. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. There's a special permit application tonight, so we will be allowing public comments on that item. Otherwise, DRB meetings do not typically require allowing public comment. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this board are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other people may be able to see you and take care not to screen share your computer unless the chair approves. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. And I would like to review the remote meeting procedures for tonight's meeting. I will introduce each applicant on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will take comments or questions from the DRB members. After discussion, each vote will be by roll call vote. And the building department is now requiring electronic submission of building permit applications. A copy of the application stamped and noted for the type of approval that it receives will be emailed to you by the DRB support staff. That can then be attached to your building permit application. So we will now start with the first item on the agenda. By the way, Elisa, is that still true? They're only taking electronic submissions at the building department? Okay, thanks. She said yes, but those who didn't see it. We have a public hearing that I want to open this public hearing. Public notice is hereby given that Boston Properties located at 140 Kendrick Street has made application to the Design Review Board for a special permit pursuant to bylaw sections 5.5.3.1a and 5.5.4. Section 5.5.1, 3 directional size over the maximum size, and any other applicable sections of the bylaw. So I wanted to open this hearing because if there are people attending who are interested in that hearing, we are going to continue them to our July 19th hearing. They were not able to attend tonight, but I wanted to make sure that we opened the hearing and continued it so that they wouldn't have to renotice all the abutters and put notices in the newspaper. So I assume that anybody who was interested in this project is here tonight. And I will inform you now that they will be on our July 19th agenda. All right, so the next item is Josie Lee, AZ Signs, Little Spoon Thai Kitchen, 952 Great Plain Ave. She's actually applying for a wall sign, a an internally illuminated sign, and some window graphics. So Josie, why don't you go ahead?
Hi everyone. So, uh, so we wanted to make more sign and one in and a break sign in the corner, and also for the another side. So because for last time we wanted to make two big sign, but for this meeting we only wanted to one big sign. But for another side, we also wanted to make the same backing for another side, and then painting the color with the same painting the same color with the existing word like the Latin American cuisine. We can see the page 3, and then we can see the another side. So we just wanted to put in the backing for another side. And also we changed the graphic to 22 inches right now. So that is all for the side we wanted to make it. So do you have any comments or any suggestion for the side?
Oh, yeah, we'll get started. Chad, do you have any comments or questions?
My apologies if it was stated and I missed it, but when we spoke last time, we talked about the backing of the sign. It was presented as aluminum, and we were concerned that that might project out, and we wondered if it might be possible to replace it with a painted panel like they had done at the Latina kitchen next door. And I'm still seeing on the graphic that it's being referred to as painted aluminum, 1 inch deep. So I guess the first question is it still proposed to be on an aluminum panel, or is it going to be a panel set into the building like was done on Latina?
Because we're not quite sure the panel for Latina, the Phoenix, so we would like to make the backing for the panel for the 1 inch deep, because for last time we wanted 2 inches deep, but so we changed it for 1 inch deep, because it's a little bit different with the Latina, because the Latin American cuisine, their side is different with our side, because their side is the alcoholic ladder side, but our side is the channel ladder. So I think it will be heavy. The side will be heavy than their side. So we wanted to make it 1 inches finished backing to mounting the sign.
I guess I'll hold off. I'll defer on the comment on until we get around to Steve and we talk about maybe the sign construction. I think if there is a way of doing it that more matches and keeps the building consistent, that would be better. I think that the main sign, I think as I recall correctly, there were a couple different versions before. I think this with a smaller graphic seems like it's in the right proportion with the lettering. Let's see, total 24 square feet. I assume that's the 26.15 times 125.28. I haven't done the math on it, but it seems reasonable. I think on the blade sign, the graphic and everything, the lettering, all look proportional to themselves, but the whole thing seems a little bit large and kind of crowded into the circle. So if the whole thing was, I don't know, maybe 80% of the size of that graphic, I think it would fit better in the circle. But otherwise, I think it's an improvement from what we saw last time.
Okay, yes.
I think on the graphics, one other thing, I think I like the, I think it looked pretty interesting with the cityscape as a graphic element. On the whole, I probably would rather not see all the little spoons all over the window than the white graphic, but I guess if they're small enough, they don't count as a sign, and we can't necessarily regulate them in the same way. And the business hours look a little bit on the big side. It's almost 4 square feet. It seems like it's maybe twice the size it needs to be.
The business hours is in the door, is now is
Yes.
in the
Yeah, but sign, the sign is going to be like this big with the business hours. It seems like it could be, maybe half the size or a little bit more than that. Because generally speaking, it's going to be a pedestrian who's right there at the door, so they don't need a giant graphic with all the hours.
Okay, we can make the business hours smaller, like the height for 18 inches.
Yeah.
Or
Well, I think let's see what the other board members have to say. I think that's just kind of my initial comments.
Okay, thanks. Steve, you have some thoughts?
Talking about the business hours, I mean, they're the same for every day of the week. Why don't they just put, Monday to Sunday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. You don't need to say it 7 times.
Yeah, because before the business owner wanted to list it every day for weeks, so maybe we can change it just from Monday to Sunday, and then 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Well, you could make it Monday to Friday at 11 to 10, and Saturday and Sunday list those separately.
Yep. Okay.
Any thoughts on the sign, Steve, or the panel?
I think it looks fine.
Okay.
I like having the panel. I think it looks better than just having the existing slats that are there. So I would like to see the panel.
So I guess the question, Josie, is did you verify that 1 inch thick will not project beyond the architectural frame around that area?
Yeah.
That was our question.
Yes, 1 inch is not frame, so 1 inch is I think I think the Latino American cuisine they also have half inches for the panel, because uh because it's different kind of size, so we also wanted the 1 inch deep, so to hold also, because the backing also mounting with the sign.
Okay, but we want to make sure that that backing does not project out beyond. The reason, you can, if you removed those clapboard backing that Steve was talking about, that slatted look, and then put the panel in, that would give you even more space. There are other materials that you're mounting on top of that you could remove first to make sure that it gets recessed.
Mark, the prior submission had a picture head-on of Latin American cuisine. So if it's okay, I'll share my screen just so we can see that as a point of reference.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit of a grainy picture, but you can see that they replaced the slats, which are the main part of the building, with a flush panel, all painted out in the same color. But you can see by the shadow lines that it sits recessed within these architectural elements. I think what we want to make sure is that an aluminum panel or whatever that material is matches in color and also doesn't project out past this architectural detailing. It should sit recessed the same way Latin American cuisine, that panel that those letters are mounted on, sit. And I don't see that the sign that has been submitted in terms of the architecture of the building and the panel is any different than the way this has been handled. I mean, the letters themselves, of course, are different, but a solid panel painted in a gray to match doesn't seem to me to be particularly different just because it's around the corner.
And you can see there, Chad, if you go over to the left on the area we're talking about for the new sign, if you go over against the column, the pilaster, that's the area, Josie, that we think needs to be, we don't want you to project past that pilaster. So it doesn't look like there's an inch there, but I mean, I can't tell from the picture. We see a lot of these things, so we have a somewhat of an understanding. So I think if you remove that material that's there and then install the panel, you will be okay.
Yep. So we need to confirm with the construction company for them
Okay.
whether it can removable. If it can remove, so we can remove that one and then mounting our panel.
Okay.
Yeah, they did it here, so it should be possible to do it over just around the corner.
Okay, I will make sure for that one.
Okay. Bob,
Yeah, I concur with my colleague's comments about the store hours. Open every day, 11 to 10, because I think you need to. This is a very busy corner. You've got this odd overlap with the Latina, American cuisine next door with that last window. So I think anything you can do. I really like the graphic of the city. I think that's unique. That'll set you apart from everybody else in town. I like that. But I think in contrast, some of the other information could be reduced, such as the store hours. And maybe this is just me, but I still find the white outline around the letters to make the reading of it fuzzy, especially on Thai Kitchen. There's almost more white than there is the blue or the dark color. Now, maybe that's just a function of how those are made, and it'll look better on the real thing because this is a flat screen I'm looking at. I think the proportions are good in that band. So I'm okay with the graphic. And I think Chad is on to something and we always have to be careful when we're looking at a Photoshop document, but the proportions I think are valid to comment on, such as how much the blade sign is filled, with all of that information. You might even consider doing something slightly different on the blade sign because it serves a different purpose. I don't think you have to have the words Little Spoon Thai Kitchen, the spoon, and that little person every single location. I would encourage rethinking that. Those are my thoughts right now.
okay. Nelson?
I agree with all the comments that Bob just made, and having missed the first time this was presented, I'd be curious to know what's represented in the graphic. I see the Zachem Bridge. I recognize very few other things if it is the city of Boston.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's just an element.
Okay.
I think it just works nicely as
Fair enough.
as a bottom to those windows. We did ask her to reduce the height so that it's less than 25% of that window panel.
Mhm.
And I think she's done that. So I think that's good.
Well,
And
I'm good with everything else.
one more thing, if I may, Mark, speaking to that. So what I was trying to get at, if you look at, I'm looking at page 39 of our PDF that shows the front of the building with the numbers in the circles to identify what we're talking about. So number 3 there, that narrower window panel that has the cityscape at the bottom, then it has 2 little spoons sort of randomly placed in there. I think it takes away from the cityscape. I think it's much purer if you just have that cityscape at the base. Granted, those are small. We don't have a lot of control over those. So I guess that falls more into my opinion. I would do away with those in that panel. Fine, it's fine to have one on the door. It's the entrance. But, there's 4 of them within, if you scroll your eyes down from the blade sign to the door, there's 4 of them all in that span. And I think the 2 in the window could go away. That's all.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'm trying to look at the other side. Okay.
I'd like to make a comment, Mark.
Sure.
I think Bob was really onto something when he talked about the white around the Thai kitchen and the spoon and around the little spoon, the person holding it. I think that we need to define how much that space is, because that will be white light, and we don't have any idea how much white light it's going to create. It looks really big around that little person, and also around the Thai kitchen. And I think we should find out like how much white is showing. Is that a half an inch, a quarter of an inch?
Okay. Chad?
So, yeah, the graphics, we had a little challenge with the graphics the last time around where the white around the lettering was, drawn almost as if it was trying to fake a 3D look. And so I think one of the first things to clarify is whether that white border is simply the edge of the channellet, the white channellet side, but it's just drawn too thick, or if the face letter itself is intended to have a white halo around it.
There's an image on page 41 of the PDF that shows the letter that might help this discussion.
Are you looking at the same submission? I don't have page 41, and for me has speed limit.
21, I see it.
31?
41 of the PDF.
Full one.
Of the PDF, Elisa sent the revised 628 meeting materials.
Okay.
You want me to share
Yeah,
screen?
I mean, I was assuming it's just the edge of the channel and not actually a white graphic on the acrylic face, but that we definitely should either clarify or
Okay. Well,
require.
let's let Josie explain. Is that just a graphic image, or is that when we look at the enlarged letter
So for the
detail that has how wide is that white edge condition?
so for the channel letter, so we have the white outline for 3/4 inches.
Okay. So it is
Okay.
heavy. That is
Yeah.
pretty heavy. Okay.
And then Josie, what's the image I'm looking at? It says 3/16 inch acrylic face. And it
So it's
appears,
the thickness of the face.
all right, because it appears with that arrowhead that it's sort of labeling that white space that we're talking about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we know how wide in the vertical leg of the letter L, how much acrylic is showing on that vertical leg?
For
2 inches?
the algorithm,
On the page that shows the frontlit channel letter signs, and it's using a letter L to kind of represent a typical letter. So in the vertical part of the leg, if you were to measure the distance, the width of the vertical part of that acrylic L, how wide would that letter be? I'll show my screen again, just because I don't think we're kind of
Yeah,
connecting.
I think that'll help.
So I can see that this is blue right in here. If I measured between the edge of the aluminum here to the edge of the aluminum on that side, this width right here at the letter L, how wide would that be?
For now, it's hard to measure it right now because
But I think ultimately, if there's going to be a white border showing, we need to know the width of that white border relative to the overall width of the letter. And we'll also need to know the same thing on the smaller scale letters, or we've got the Thai kitchen. We would want to know how wide is the blue versus the border around it.
so because for this measure, for the graph, so I just only showing the whole length, whole wide of the letter. I didn't measure the individual one, but for the For the blue lettering, it's a smaller 3/4 than the white area.
Sorry, I'm gonna try to follow that. So do you know how wide is the blue right here?
Or the width of the overall box, and we'll subtract, but
Yeah.
something.
In fact, I've enlarged the letter on my screen to half size, and the white is a little bit more than 3/8 of an inch. So you have to double that.
Three
Well,
quarters.
she said it was 3/4, so it looks like
Yeah.
the blue is about 3 inches.
So 3/4 is for you can see the Y, right? The Y to the blue, you can see for the left side, the Y outline to the blue, so it's 3/4. From
This
here,
whole
yeah,
distance,
yeah, 3/4.
including the edge of the aluminum channel.
Would you mind me to share my screen?
Yes, go ahead. Chad will have to look up. There you go.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
So 3/4 is from here to here is 3/4.
Okay. And what is it from the outside of the canister to the right side of the canister, all the way across? Go up the L a little bit, go up to where it says LED illumination.
For that
So
one,
what, so from the very outside of the letter box,
for here.
side to side. Yeah, there you go, from there to there. What's that size?
How wide is the letter?
The white and blue added together are how much?
For that.
4 inches, 6 inches, 3. That's what we're trying to understand. What we're getting to is we think that the white edge is too wide for most of the other lettering that you're doing. If it's
Especially when
3/4 inch.
Especially when they bleed together.
Yeah, and when you get down into Thai kitchen and around the graphic image, that seems a little heavy. So, but we don't know how big this is, so we're trying to figure out a way to get that. So
Give me 1 second.
Hi, can I ask a quick question about the process of how this goes? Because I'm a little unclear.
we're going to review these signs in order and get our questions answered, and then we'll move on to the next item on the agenda.
Is there an
well-
end time? Will everyone get to go, or do we just go until everyone's done?
We go until everyone's done.
Oh, okay, got it. Understood.
We won't cut you off. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm just wondering because yeah.
Yeah. No, sometimes some are easier than others. It's just the way it goes. So this one's a little more complex on some issues. So I'm going to use my trusty eagle eye and say that the blue is 5 of the 3/4 width. So that's 3.5, 3.25 inch. 3 3/4. So in the overall sign is almost 5. But we need to move on with this. We either need to continue her while she gets more information about these lettering and these edges, or we need to see if we can come up to some sort of restrictions that we're comfortable issuing now and approve it as with conditions, as we often do.
I think it should be about a 1/2 inch max.
Okay.
I think if it's okay with you, Joseph, I think how do my colleagues feel we could probably approve with conditions.
Okay.
I think we've talked about it, and I think we've given her some suggestions, and if we put those into the conditions, I think as long as that's clear.
Yeah, we'll what let's settle on the edge width. Is 1/2 inch comfortable for everyone?
Yep.
When you look at the overall to the kitchen graphic and the image of the child.
Yes.
There you go.
It feels like it should be a little smaller on Thai Kitchen than on Little Spoon, but I'm not gonna lose sleep over it.
Okay. One inch. Okay. Just give me a second to make a couple notes here.
And you got the idea of the panel mark not protruding. Good.
Yep. Question on the projecting sign. Did anyone else feel like there was a lot that we needed just to reduce that a little bit, maybe 20%? It is full.
Yeah, I think that's
But
fine.
it's not that big, so. Okay.
Is 20 by 20 the standard size for blade signs?
You can have up to 3 square feet, so it's a little small.
Yeah. So that's the other approach, is to just go a little bit bigger on the circle and keep the graphic the same.
Okay. Preferably, why don't we say make it 22 inches?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Okay. All right, we'll make conditions for, I'm not going to vote. We do have separate applications for each one, but I think we can vote this as a package, and I'll name the conditions. So I would accept a motion to approve this with the following conditions: that the siding, the existing siding, be removed before the aluminum panel, backing panel, is installed. That the Little Spoon illuminated sign, the edge, the white edge, be 1/2 inch only. That the business hours are consolidated, the signage for the business hours on the door are consolidated into several days of the week rather than each individual day listed out independently. And that the blades sign will be enlarged to 22 inches in diameter. And we approve the window graphic as presented.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, we come to the vote. Bob Dermody,
Aye.
Nelson Hammer,
Aye.
Chad Riley,
Aye.
Steve Tanner.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. So I will mark these drawings up for you, Josie, and with these notes on them, and then you can proceed and build the signs according to the conditions we added to your presentation. Right, and I'm not sure who's sharing right now. Is that Josie? Could you give the screen back, please? Thank you. Okay, Josie?
So we getting approval right now, and then we just change it what we talk it, and then so that we can getting approval, right? Should we need to come back for the next meeting?
You don't need to come back. We will mark it. We will mark a drawing with these conditions, and we just expect you to do what we said when you make the sign.
So after I finish it, and then I send it to Alicia, right?
Yes, no, Elisa will send you the approved package. And then you send it to, once the sign is made, you send it, you include it with your application to the building department.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Did I get that right, everybody? Okay.
I mean, you can submit for the building permit application before making the sign. Sometimes if there's occasionally there may be some pushback or some questions from the building department. So sometimes it's good to submit to the building department before making the sign, because then you know that you can construct and install what you intend to do, but they will look for our approval as part of the building permit application process.
Okay, so the next item, move on, please. Nicole Hendrickson, sign design for Speedway 207 Highland Ave.
Hi, I'm Chrissy Ripley. I'm actually representing sign design this evening at 207 Highland. What Speedway's looking to do is update their pump toppers. They have 6 pumps. They'll be updating the pump toppers on the top of the pump. It's not changing any of the branding. It's just to be able to update the prices easier. And it also has the pricing for paying with the card or just the regular pay, depending if you have the pay card. They're also updating the pylon with the new digital numbers. The square footage is the same. The overall look is the same. They just added a white detail bar between Speedway and the digital pricing.
Okay. Questions, Steve?
I have no problem with this.
Okay. Nelson?
The changes are very minor. I don't have an issue with it.
Okay. Chad?
Nothing major. I think just when I look at and maybe it's just the graphics, when I look at the stroke of the letter, the regular width card, I'm particularly looking at the pylon sign right now. It's just a very thick letter stroke. So, it might be a little hard to read, but, not a big issue. I think generally speaking, I'm fine with it.
Okay. Bob?
No, minor changes. I'm fine with this. I appreciate them, explaining it though. Thank you, Chrissy.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we've been approving these electronic pricing signs just because that's become the new industry standard. There were some issues long ago about how they fit in the bylaw, but we've sort of made a compromise and are working with them on these. So I don't have any problems with it. It seems like a pretty straightforward change out to update the technology. So I would accept a motion to approve the signage for the Speedway 207 Highland Ave as submitted.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, and the vote. Bob Dermody,
Aye.
Nelson Hammer,
Aye.
Chad Riley.
Aye.
Steve Tanner,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. All right, so thank you, Chrissy.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is
I'm sorry, before we proceed, the person who's motioning tonight is Bob Dermody and the person who's seconding is Chad Riley. Steve, if you're attending the next meeting, you can be the seconder or the
I
motioner.
don't really care.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a quick aside, Mark?
Yeah.
I'm looking at this gas station thing, and I will honestly admit this is coming from a pet peeve of mine. What do we think about these videos on the gas pump? Do they fall under anything? Because they just start to appear.
Yeah, but they're 6 inches square, there's really not a,
All right.
they might be an annoyance to someone getting gas. Other people might like them.
And I'll buy anybody a tank of gas if they can tell me how to turn them off.
Okay.
All right, I'm done.
That's a good offer. because you won't have to pay.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark. That's it.
No, that's fine. Yeah, no, it isn't. It's the larger ones. We've had a couple applications for the video,
Yeah.
rotating video signs that we've had to deal with, but this is just too small for it to be a factor. So the next item is 1110 Great Plain Ave, Sea Spray Shorelines. I want to just take a moment to talk about this. The town, Newton and Needham are both involved in a program with working with landlords. I don't know all the detail of it, but we're working with landlords and doing what they're calling these pop-up stores. So where they get they're in for probably a short term, and so they need a kind of a quick turnaround on approval, which we'll talk about after we look at both of these. But the pop-up sign is intended to be a temporary sign. I've already spoken with the building inspector. We have a certain requirement that we're going to impose, but for the most part, we're going to try and get these through in a simple way. All the temporary signs have a 60-day limit. This program is technically supposed to run through the end of August. And if they are successful and choose to stay in the location and be a more permanent store, they will be required to come back for a more permanent sign. And regardless of that, if they think they're going to stay and they're not sure how long, we're going to ask them to come back after the 60 days has passed. And we can talk about whether we want to extend their temporary sign for any amount of time, or if we want them to get a real sign and go from there. All right, so I will, Ethan, you want to give us a quick overview of your...
Hello, everyone. I just want to say thank you. It's been quite the opportunity. I've actually been doing very well. 9 days in, and we flipped this store in 2 weeks. So it's pretty exciting. I actually live on Maple Street, which is crazy. It's at the end of my road. So this is the old Proud Mary space. I welcome everyone in. It's a very high-end fun vacation store. We've put a lot of effort into it, and we don't have a lot of time to prove ourselves. In the scheme of things, it's almost fall. I'm in the retail game. So all I'm looking for is just temporary placement of the entrance. It's a very, there's two options. I don't know what Elisa provided. I was a little thrown off just because didn't expect it to be so detailed oriented for approval, but it's just a temporary sign, same exact spot that Proud Mary had her spot. I believe it's 15 inches high, 72 inches long, standard graphic with a little fun beach ocean graphic. If that's too much, there's a more traditional navy block. And this is just something, my lease ends August 30th, depending on the residents, keeping this thing going. But so far it's been a success, and we've got some window blockage, what I was told, as long as that didn't necessarily be approved, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. So the one condition that we talked about, Ethan, with the building inspectors, that it not be on these vinyl sheet stock banners, not a banner. We want to get them printed on the corrugated plastic.
Yeah, that's fine.
Coroplast. And I did call the sign company to confirm that it was not going to be more expensive. In fact, the Coroplast for that size sign was less expensive. So I think economically we're not creating a hardship. So, but that is going to be a requirement that we do going forward on any signs that are applied to the building. So that'll be the one condition we put in here, because you don't really specify the material. So I would let the board ask any questions. Nelson?
I really don't understand exactly what's going on. I'd like to hear some other comments before I make mine.
Bob?
Yeah, I'm fine, especially it's temporary. I'm trying to support the town's efforts and this person's efforts in our town, so thank you. Just one question on the graphic we've been given. I'm on page 49 of our PDF, the one that has the big yellow circle around over the front door.
That's the placement.
Right. What are the two arrows telling me? It says main entrance is to the left.
Yeah, it's just literally, if you know Proud Mary, it's just the front door. It's just it's a little rectangle above the store entrance.
Right. I'm confused by the two arrows. There's one arrow pointing left, and right under it, it says main entrance. So why is that arrow there? I guess is what I'm
I don't
asking.
know. It's just literally going in the rectangle. I don't know why the other stuff matters. Hold on.
Well,
Well,
because
just you can tell us it doesn't matter. That's the question.
It's literally just it's literally just a
is
square
the-
banner going in a square.
okay,
the
I
main-
understand that, but and then it says sign banner position with an arrow pointing to the lower right. I don't know. I think are the arrows just labeling the words to the
Yes.
sign?
Yeah, it's literally just a plastic rectangular banner going in a spot that already exists that would be tacked to a rectangle.
Okay.
Nothing more than just a plastic banner going in a rectangle.
So
Got
the
it.
notes about an arrow and main entrance and those aren't relevant to the sign.
Right, right. I'm not a graphic designer and I had no idea it was this detailed.
Well, Ethan sent me this and I asked him to just take a picture, circle where it's going to go and give us the dimensions of the thing. And that's what he's done. But I see that the pointing the arrow to the main entrance is confusing, but I don't really care where the main entrance is in the end. I know
fine.
that it's there. I'm familiar with the building. So I think it's just information that
Correct.
shouldn't have been there, but it is a little confusing.
I'm fine with it otherwise. The colors are good. They work well in Needham. That's our color. So
Is there a preference on Ethan, is there a preference on your side of whether you have the picture or not the picture?
I prefer the ocean one, but it's
Okay,
to
well,
your, to your liking.
That's fine. Okay. Steve,
I think it's fine. I'm fine with the picture, I'm fine without the picture. It's what the owner of the store would want.
okay. Chad?
I'm on in the same page, basically. I think if it was a permanent sign, I might lean a little bit towards the one without the picture. When I look at the image just by itself, I like the one with the ocean on it. As a permanent sign, it might look a little busy above the door, but as a temporary thing and trying to catch people's attention, if he prefers the one with the water and the wave, then I'm fine with that too.
Okay. Yeah, I think Ethan, I would echo Chad's comments that my concern is that the name of the store is in a sign 15 inches high and 36 inches wide. So I'm worried that the lettering is going to get pretty small, but you can gauge that when you look at it. Like for instance, by starboard is not going to be visible at all. But I think again, temporary sign, that looks good. So I would take a motion to approve the sign with the image of the beach waves, but with a condition that the vinyl sign be mounted on a chloroplast backing.
so moved.
Seconded.
All right, vote. Bob Dermody,
Aye.
Nelson Hammer,
Aye.
Chad Riley.
Aye.
Steve Tanner,
Aye.
and the chair approves.
You.
Okay, Ethan, and we'll mark up something and email back the approval to you,
Cheers.
but you
Thank
can
you
go
very
ahead and get that made and installed.
Lovely. Thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come on in. Bye-bye.
Next item is 10 Oak Street, Goody Gifty.
Well, we're gonna leverage like existing sign. We are not gonna change any dimensions. And the frame has one depth aluminum frame. And we are just gonna reskin the design with the Goody Gifty. So, and it's not going to be illuminated. So it'll be wall mounted sign, aluminum, and it'll be skinned with the vinyl lamination.
So you're going to basically adhere a new piece of vinyl face inside that existing frame on that.
Uh-huh.
Right. Steve, do you have any advice?
Uh,
Steve, you have any comments?
Oh, okay. This looks like just a digital print they're gonna put over the existing sign,
Yeah.
Yes,
because they call it a 3M vinyl with laminate.
yeah.
And the only thing is, if those letters so good were vinyl, they have a thickness to it. So you would see those impressions underneath this goodie gift. So those letters would have to be stripped, or that piece of aluminum would have to be turned over and have use the other side if they
Yeah.
intend on using that frame.
It'll be removed. They are going to remove the existing sign and like replace, overwrap it, like not overlap it. It'll be, yeah, the so good. The there is vinyl over aluminum, and that vinyl will be removed and new design will be.
That's just my only concern.
Yeah.
Right. Chad?
I think if Steve is okay with the construction of it, with those comments, what I would say is there's a couple of questions I have just about the font spacing. Like it looks like Goody Gifty. There's no space between it. I'm not sure if that's done
Yeah,
deliberately or if it's just done on purpose. Okay. And then generally speaking, with signs, it's intended to identify the business and not to advertise sort of products or things. I would say that in the case of Goody Gifty, it's not really very clear. It's not like a national brand or anything I'm aware of. If you say Staples, people know that you can buy more than Staples there, so they don't need to say that they sell paper and printers and computers. In this case, I could make an argument for having the custom T-shirts, gifts, and toys. My sense is that kind of subtext should be a little smaller, though. It's not part of the business name. It's there to help. So it feels like maybe they could be 3/4 or 2/3 the size that they are right now. And it might look better if it was the three different things were separated by bullets instead of a comma and then using the ampersand. So if it was custom T-shirts, bullet, gifts, bullet, toys, then it kind of outlines three things that are done in the store, but the whole thing should be a little bit smaller in proportion. And if that means that 6 inches is not terribly tall for the major sign of the name of the business. So if the name of the business got a little bit bigger, while those three got a little smaller, I think the sign would look a little more balanced.
I think as you said, Goody Gifty is not a known brand, so we wanted to let customers read that custom T-shirts and gifts more than the store name. Like, well, actually, store name itself was not that important for us to be on the.
Well,
yeah, and
I think unfortunately the way the sign bylaws are written and the intent is that the sign really is there to identify the business name. So I understand what you're saying, but that's not really the function of the sign. So there's nothing inherent in the bylaw that requires us to include that text. So when we do, it usually is because we're trying to work with a business, because we recognize that sometimes it can be a little challenging for a new business that's trying to establish itself. And we want, of course, businesses to be successful and need them. So when there is something like a name where it's not really clear what the business is all about, sometimes we will allow kind of a smaller indication to just help people and help the store drawing customers.
Hey, Nelson?
I concur with all of Chad's comments.
Okay. Bob?
I concur, reconcur.
Those are my take too, is that it's always tough when they do these taglines. So
Yeah.
I think that when I looked at it, I thought maybe 3 inches high. We've done other building signage, or especially some ground mount signage where they needed that sort of information, or they asked for that sort of information, and 3 inches has been a pretty good workable size in the sign panel. And I agree. At that point, I would make Goody Gifty 7 inches. So I don't know if people agree with that, or
Yeah, that's
the other
fine.
members agree, we would make that. So I think that overall as a sign, it's going to work well. We understand, as Chad stated, what you're trying to do, but it just doesn't, there's very little room in the bylaw for us to do too much like that. And then I would also add agree that the bullet points might be more successful than nothing and then a column. A comment, sorry. Just, yeah.
One more question, Mark. Did we establish is Goody Gifty 1 word or 2?
I believe she said it was one
That
word.
one I can't change it. It's just registered that way, and
That's fine. No, that's your choice. I wasn't suggesting to change it. I was just curious. And this is a permanent sign, Mark, unlike the last one we just did, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So she told us she's going to remove the existing sign. I would take a motion to approve this sign with the conditions that the Goody Gifty be 7 inches high, that the custom t-shirts, bullet, gifts, bullet, toys line be 3 inches high at the tallest level. And that the comma and the ampersand be changed to just bullet things. So, can I get that motion, please?
Yes. So moved.
Seconded.
Okay. And we come to the vote. Bob Dermody,
Aye.
Nelson Hammer,
Aye.
Chad Riley.
Aye.
Steve Tanner.
Aye.
The chair approves. Okay.
thank you.
Right. So thanks.
Thank you.
Sure.
Luck.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Question. All right. And the next element is this is another one of the pop-up stores. So this is a temporary sign. I believe this is a window design sign for Wesley. So we have Wesley Pierre.
I lost the connection.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hi.
everyone. I'm Wesley. Nice to meet you.
Aye.
So I am Wesley. I'm the owner of Wesley Designs, and I opened a plant studio right in the heart of Needham Square. And people love plants, and they're really into it. I'm actually not sure what I'm supposed to say to y'all, but you have the pictures, so tell me what you like and tell me what you don't.
Well, I guess we've had some mix-up with the town and sort of getting organized and around the idea of how to quickly review these and get you going.
Yeah,
I believe this one's already installed.
it's
but-
up. It's all the way up.
So I guess my question, just a couple of questions on scale so that we understand the overall area that that is compliant is. Do you know what the height of the sign is from below the word designs to above the word plant, for
It
instance?
should all be there on the PDF, is it not?
I have just the very various letter sizes, but I don't have the,
Alyssa, is that the information you had asked me for that I submitted back to you or no?
okay, then I didn't get that. I'm missing the update.
Yeah,
packet.
you're fine.
So,
Alyssa, I think you have that information, right?
so what do you have for a height? Do you have a height, Bob or Chad?
Which dimension again, Mark, please?
The overall height from the bottom of designs and decor to the top of the plant on the top line.
Yeah.
No, I don't have.
The revised or the one in the package has the height of each line, but it doesn't have from in the word the, it doesn't have from the top of the T to the bottom of the graphic leaf. So it's got the overall width as 6109,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have the overall height when you add everything all in together.
Overall, it's 61 by 24.
But you had 15.
Well,
and
add
four
the space in
7.
between. I guess I kind of want to, the way we do the area, Wesley, is we draw a box around the entire thing.
Oh, what I'm saying is I had submitted what the question that was asked. I submitted it to the graphic designer, and that you asked for this information, right?
Yeah. The question
Yeah.
mark?
Yeah.
Yep. And they had responded back approximately 61
Okay.
is like the, yeah, and then by 24. So yeah,
Well, it can't be 24, but
I don't know what that means then.
so they didn't really answer the question. Well, I think it's probably 60 by 60. Looks like it's a square almost,
Okay.
which is still under the area. So I don't have a big question. You know, it's a nicely designed element. You're not doing any other building signage?
No, no, no. That's all I want. I don't want anything else.
Okay. Any other, so open it up to questions again. Bob, any other questions?
I think it looks elegant. I'm just curious as into which storefront it went.
It used to be the optometrist
Got it.
right next to the new Primary.
Now I see.
There you go.
All right, Chad?
Yeah, I think it's, I agree. I think it's the lettering, the graphic is all tastefully done. If it was a permanent sign, I think just like we were kind of having a conversation about the last one, we would probably be asking about what exactly is the business name? Is it the design studio or is
It
it
is the design
Westleaf? And
studio.
we would,
It is the design
Yeah, and so
studio,
I think-
but yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and you know, but I think generally speaking, you know, it's kind of tying together several things. And again, as similar to the store with the beachfront, as a pop-up, you know, trying to get attention drawn in. It doesn't feel like there's extraneous information to me on there. It feels like it's you know, providing what people would need to see and want to come into the business.
Okay. Steve?
I think the sign looks very well constructed in its design, and I wouldn't recommend any changes.
Okay. Nelson?
I think the sign's very elegant too. I have one editorial comment to make. Mother Nature designs plants, people don't. I would call it a planting design or a landscape design, but not a plant design. That's all from me.
The landscape architect.
Yeah.
Well, if you could design a plant, Nelson, what would you design?
Oh, no, don't go there.
I was about to say, please don't get him started.
Okay. So again, Wesley, this is a 60-day temporary sign. If you decide you're going to stay, we'd like you to come back and we talk about a more permanent sign installation for that location.
Okay.
So I would take a motion to approve the Westleaf Plant Design Studio sign as submitted.
Yes, so moved.
Seconded.
And we come to the vote. Bob Dermody,
Aye.
Nelson Hammer,
Aye.
Chad Riley,
Aye.
Steve Tanner,
Aye.
and the chair approves. All right, so good luck, Wesley.
Welcome, Wesley.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Luck.
Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Should we have said approve as constructed?
Yeah, it's always an option. Yeah.
I didn't want to say it in front of her.
So while we're on this, that's my next topic is Elise and I have been having many emails and a couple of phone calls about how to deal with this situation. The Economic Development Office is off and running on their own. If you look at these stores, you'll see some little advertisement for the pop-up sign that's actually bigger than her sign. And it's the same thing on the surf store, and it's just in the way. And so I've been talking with her about it. So, you know, the idea is that it's temporary, but as these come up the rest of the summer, what I wanted to do was for us to vote now on designating one person from the board to review these and negotiate with the applicant and approve a temporary sign for them. And if there's someone who would like to do that, you're welcome to tell me that now. I'll do it as chair, which as I usually, but I'm happy to let someone else.
Question, Mr. Chair. So if one of us volunteers, is this outside of the purview of the board, or are we acting on behalf of the board, or?
Acting on behalf of the board.
Okay.
where the board, I want the board to designate one person to deal with this. So our next meeting's July 19th. The next meeting after that's early August. If someone comes in on the 21st and wants to throw together a store, you heard that guy, he put it together in 3 days.
Yeah.
I want to be able to give them a sign. And,
Okay.
you know, just something screwed to the wall. The building inspector has weighed in on his requirements. I think that we're all capable of negotiating with someone and saying, yeah, maybe you should change this a little bit. And then, I mean, I have faith in anybody on the board doing that. So any other thoughts on that approach?
Is physical presence in the town boundaries helpful?
I'm not sure. I went out and looked at one to Westleaf today, but that was just because Lisa was talking about some issue with the pop-up sign. So no, it's emails and phone calls.
Yeah,
So I'm not trying to get someone to do it. I just want to get the board to agree to do it. And then if someone wants to do it, I'm happy to.
yeah, I'm fine with us taking this approach. I think we're always told to try to be helpful, and here's an opportunity for us to demonstrate that we are.
Okay.
I would do it too, and maybe like share it with Bob, so we could
Yeah.
do it like every other month or so.
Yeah,
Only 3 months.
yeah, I mean, what they're gonna, it's gonna be,
Only 2 left.
it's gonna be the next few weeks, right, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There may not be, but I saw a lot of empty storefronts today. So
Well, we can take turns. I'm fine with doing one.
yeah, I just like to have one person so they get all the emails about it. Elisa doesn't have to try and remember who looked at which one.
Yeah.
So Nelson, do you have any thoughts? Is that you okay with this approach?
I'm okay with it, but I don't want to volunteer myself.
No,
No.
that's fine. That's fine. So why don't we vote that we are going to, for these temporary pop-up signs, the board will designate a member to review and approve each sign independently of the meetings with the rest of the board.
And yeah, I'm fine with
That
that.
motion,
So moved.
can I get a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, and we vote. Bob Dermody,
Aye.
Nelson Hammer,
Aye.
Chad Riley.
Aye.
Steve Tanner,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.
And like I normally do, I'm gonna ask another question. This is legit, like we're not running into any issues of someone saying we're violating something in the town charter or anything?
I don't believe so. You know, with the, because we've had the discussion here about,
Okay.
and they're temporary signs. The reality is the bylaw defines temporary signs and then says not another word about a temporary sign in the whole bylaw.
Oh, it's just in the definition section.
So we have flexibility on how we implement them. That's how I've taken it, that we have flexibility. And I'm using that flexibility here.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I think the best thing we have going for us is they're temporary.
Right, and I want them reviewed. I want somebody to look at it.
Yeah,
and,
that's true. We do want to participate.
you know, Ethan was ready to make his 10 days ago, and I asked him to wait. So, so it just takes a quick look. Okay.
By the
and-
way, are you going to, you saw Amy Helson's email about about that whole pop-up vinyl decal. And she asked the question, can they remain?
I'm going to think about it a day or two, and then these pop-up signs, they're white graphics with clear. I mean, they're not super heavy-handed, but they are a little big. And I would, you know, if she'd come to us, I would have made them about half the size, maybe, and they still would have been pretty visible. But they're already fabricated, installed. I think what I'll do is ask her to make any future ones about 50% of that size. They'd be limited to one per store.
Hey, Mark, have you heard any scuttlebutt of, long-standing permanent stores reacting to the pop-ups? Are they welcoming them? Are they not happy? Are they mixed? Are they not saying anything?
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, okay.
More foot traffic is usually better for everybody. So
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, the next item, thank you for that. Does someone want to do that? I'm happy to do it if nobody's wants to do it. If someone wants to take that on, then you can work with Elisa on the applications as they come in.
I'll do it, Mark.
Okay, thanks. The next thing is I wanted to talk about meetings in person versus Zoom. I think the Zoom has been a benefit for the staff. Elisa's able to attend, which she probably would not be normally. Rana likes it. I'm not a fan, but I don't hate it. I find it cumbersome and difficult, and it's really about 4 times as much work for me. That's my biggest issue with it. It takes a lot more time to deal with it all. But we can meet in person if we want. But I think, Lisa, you can correct me. We are allowed through the summer to meet remotely.
Yeah, we are encouraged actually to meet remotely. I
Okay.
spoke with Lee Newman, the planning director, last week, and she, well, we discussed what had occurred, I guess, the week before, when the ZBA had their first hybrid meeting. And, you know, it had its pros and cons. They had this thing called the OWL. It's a device. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but it allows in-person use to plug it into a host or a co-host device, and it has like a voice recognition, so it'll find the speaker and show them on the monitor, I guess. In any case, the town does not have a lot of these owls. I think that some of the boards would really like to get them, but Lee said that until the hybrid model is available to us, we should probably continue to participate in remote meetings.
I thought the all in-person only was an option. Did they not want to do that? Okay.
No.
Because that's what I would have done. I did do a
They
hybrid.
want, you know, what she said to me was that they really want the public to be able to attend, and even, I guess in some cases, maybe the applicants who, I don't know, but she was talking about the public.
Okay. All right.
Not that we take comment, but, you know, there may be people who are interested, so.
I did appear before the Historical Commission in a hybrid manner, and the hybrid version they used was they had one person's laptop connected to the Zoom link, and they spun it around on the table to whoever of the 3 of them that were at the meeting in person talked. And I was going to go and do it in person because I decided once they said that's how they were doing it, I thought maybe I'll just stay and do it as a Zoom element again. So, all right. So I guess through the summer, we're not, until we can meet in person, we'll continue to do this. I don't know how long the rules will allow it, but we can do that.
We only have 2 meetings during the summer.
2 more.
I'm sorry, 3, July 19th, August 9th, and August 30th.
Yeah, we've been trying to meet twice a month. I've been applying to some boards for that historical project, and they don't meet again until September. And I thought what if I had come this week? So I was a little nervous, but they do. So that not everybody meets as regularly as we do. The other element was do we have any feedback on the Nuwari vision statement that was sent around? And I remember reading that when it first came out.
I have one comment or suggestion, and I'm on CPC, where we're going to talk about this on Wednesday night, and I'll say the same thing there. And this is not necessarily for us. This is something I will tell the town, like Kate or the select board at some point. But I think if you're new to town or you're not familiar with how these works, like I'm a perfect example. I'm on a bunch of boards. I kind of know how these things work or how you get on them. My sense is that if we are concerned that people aren't getting on these boards, they may not know how that works. Literally, what is a design review board? So what I'm going to suggest is the town host a board night, not have meetings, but have each board do like a dog and pony show. This is what we do on our board. This is what we do on our board. If you're good at this or you're interested in this, come listen, come to our meetings, and with the Zoom thing, maybe the town could promote to the public just tune into a meeting, whether you get on a board or not ever. You'll know a little bit more. You'll see some of the faces. Because I've heard complaints, it's the same old people. Well, I think we have to back up and figure out how we get people on these boards. And my concern or my contention is that a lot of people don't know how you get on a board or what each board does. And so that's going to be my very broad suggestion, but to the town, and maybe the select board could chair it up, or maybe this new public information officer could host it. I see they're hosting another meeting coming up soon about these other public information issues. So those are my 2 thoughts or 2 cents right now.
Okay. Anybody else? All right.
Yeah, I appreciate Bob's perspective. I think when I was reading it, I was kind of thinking of the point of view of us reviewing applicants, and I was thinking that, like, as a matter of course, I've never seen anything that leads me to believe that we're not inclusive, or, you know, I think we are specific to the materials that are submitted. So you know, I was thinking that, you know, like, find out the statement, but, you know, I don't, it wasn't a non-issue from that regard, but I think I appreciate that perspective of diversifying the boards themselves. And, you know, it may also be the sort of thing where when there are certain known town events, like, you know, polling day or an election, that, you know, if there's some other information about, you know, town participation and other things that is posted at the voting place, so that, you know, all people are in line, or other things, they can see some information about ways of getting involved in the town. That might be another way of reaching out and raising interest and awareness.
Yeah, I think the public information officers, from the things I've read, headed in that direction, and they're just trying to spread out in a larger way that there are committees that you can serve on. I mean, I see the ad all the time from the selectmen looking for applicants for boards. I don't know,
but that's
why
my
I see it, and not everyone does, but
that's my point, Mark. We see the ad. If someone, you know, I know enough, or a lot of people know enough. Oh, I know that board. I know someone on that board. But I think someone who's new to town or has never been on a board, that just the ad for it isn't going to tell them enough, is my point. The town needs to do a better job of advertising what it means to be on this board, like a long list of all the boards that exist, whether there are openings or not, you know. And I think that's incumbent upon the town. It's not our job per se. But I think that's something the town needs to do.
okay, that seems sort of not necessarily the, you know, that sort of seems to help fulfill the goals of the statement.
Right.
If I see that correctly. Okay.
Yeah, and that's not design review board related per se.
No, it is not. Okay. I'm not sure what we're supposed to do, Elisa. If they were looking for anything more than just a little feedback, or if they wanted us to endorse it, or they looking, I didn't.
I do think they're looking for endorsement too, but I do remember the word feedback more.
Okay, why don't we give them some feedback and we'll check on it, and if they're looking for an endorsement, we can vote on that at the next meeting, because we're meeting in a couple of weeks.
Just, well, I will tell you now, I would vote to endorse, because I will not be here on the 19th.
Okay. Well, if the committee would like to vote now, we certainly can. Is everybody comfortable?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I guess just one question: if we're endorsing it, are we endorsing it for us, for the town, and what exactly does the endorsement represent? I mean, I'd vote in favor of it anyways, but I'm just wondering what exactly are we endorsing?
Good question, Chad. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. That's my question, which is why I didn't.
You're just endorsing the town's efforts to be more inclusive and to just acknowledge that we need to make our spaces more inclusive. So you're because you're a representative of the board, you're also representing the town through these dealings. So endorsing it would just be like, yes, absolutely, 100%. We agree with what the town is trying to do.
Thank you.
That makes sense to me. Yep.
Okay, so a motion to endorse the Nuwari vision statement and goals.
I will move that we, as the design review board, endorse the town's efforts as outlined in that statement.
Seconded.
All right, we come to vote. Bob Dermody,
Aye.
Nelson Hammer,
Aye.
Chad Riley,
Aye.
Steve Tanner,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Next item is the minutes from June 7th, 2021. Let me double check who was there. I think we had some different different crew there. So Steve was the only one who wasn't there. Steve and Nelson were not there. So any comments or changes to the minutes?
I just had one kind of spelling thing that may well be correct. For Boston Properties, the Lindy family, Linde, has long been kind of running and managing. And when we were on last time, I thought that when Elise came on that I read Linde. I see it's written as Lunde. I was trying to do, once we wrapped up with the official part of the meeting, I was trying to do a search to figure out if I could figure out if she's Lindy or Lundy. And I didn't find any Lindy, but I saw one thing where it might be a Lundy. So it's
I have
probably
emails.
correct the way we have it.
I have emails
What's that?
between her and me, so
So it's
It's
definitely
LU.
Lundy.
it's LU.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to, I mean, it's a big enough player in Boston that we would want to get that one right if she
Oh,
was
yeah.
part of the Lindy family. So I just wanted to double check on that one.
All right, well, that's good, thank you.
I think that fits into being, inclusive and getting people's names right respectfully. So good
Yep.
point. Yeah.
Okay, so motion to approve the minutes of June 7th, 2021.
I move to approve the minutes of June 7th, 21.
Seconded.
Okay, we'll come to the vote. Bob Dermody,
Aye.
Chad Riley,
Aye.
and the chair approves. Okay, so motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It was a
Seconded.
pause.
Okay, and the vote. Bob Dermody,
Aye.
Nelson Hammer,
Aye.
Chad Riley,
Aye.
Steve Tanner,
Aye.
and the chair approves.
Mark, Bob